Good morning, children. How are you? I hope you have understood the last part what I completed. So today we have to start a new part, the same lesson. Up to now, we have learned the properties of all the three states of matter while discussing activities in the last class. So today we are going to the next part of a lesson. In one of the part, I explained you how a state of matter occurs from one state of matter to other state of matter, like solid to liquid or liquid to gas or gas to solid and all. You have written assignment questions also. But what is this? Can matter change its state? The answer is yes, because already few concepts I have covered in the part which I completed. But in detail, we will study in today's class. Can matter change its states? So depending upon two conditions, one is temperature and the pressure, the same substance may exist in any one of the three states of matter. For example, what you know, we will discuss about that only. Like water can exist as a solid in the form of ice, as a liquid in the form of water, that is very familiar to you, and gas in the form of water vapor or stream. I hope you have understood this, because the same like water, ice and vapor, it exists in all three states. So but in solid it will have some temperature and pressure, liquid it will have some temperature and pressure, in a gas also it will have some temperature and pressure. So we are going to study how this temperature and pressure affect the state of matter in conversion from one form of matter to other form of matter. So, up to now we have learned a matter, the states of matter, and matter is made up of particles, and you have understood about the characteristic properties of matter, which decides the three states of matter and the properties. So, you have to understand what is happening if there is a conversion of one state of matter to other state of matter. So these type of questions we'll find answers in the later part of the lesson. What type of changes occur inside the matter during a change of state? How does this change of state takes place? What has happened to the particles of matter during the change of state? So what type of changes occur inside the matter means what is happening to the particles. If the interparticle distance increases or force of attraction decreases, this all we will learn. How does this change of state takes place? So when you supply the temperature, what happens in conversion of from one form of matter to other form? That means one state of matter to other state of matter. What does happen to the particles of matter? Whether they move apart, still they move apart in converting from one state of matter to other state of matter. We will get the answers in the later part of the lesson. So 2 points you have to remember why converting from one state to other state. The first point is by changing the temperature, we can convert one form of matter to other form of matter, or one state of matter to other state of matter. And one more thing is by changing the pressure also, we can convert one state of matter to other state of matter. So we will learn the first part, that is effect of change of temperature. So now a change of state from solid to liquid, that process is known as melting. A change of a state from liquid to solid, that process is known as freezing. A change of state from liquid to gas, that process is known as boiling. Change of gaseous state to liquid state, that process is called condensation. These all occur are due to a change in the temperature. Now we will learn the first condition. What is that? Is a change of state from solid to liquid. That process already I have named as melting. Now We see what is melting point and what is fusion. Then we discuss about an activity, the temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid at atmospheric pressure called its melting point. Means at one particular temperature a solid becomes into a liquid. That particular temperature is known as a melting point. The process where a solid is converting into a liquid, that process is named as a melting. And one more thing also you have to remember, change of a solid state into a liquid state is also called as fusion. So the experiment what I have told is to demonstrate that temperature is constant during melting or during conversion of a solid into a liquid. This is the activity to know the effect of change of temperature. So here, this is the experimental setup for the activity or the experiment. So this is your retort stand with a clamp here. So on the retort stand, you have placed your Bunsen burner, and this is your tripod stand. This is your wire gas. On the wire gas, a beaker is placed. Okay, next here a thermometer is clamped or tied to this retort stand, and you have a glass rod here, and in this beaker you have some ice cubes. This glass rod is used as a stirrer to stir the ice cubes during melting process. So what you have to do is take about 100 grams of ice in a beaker. Keep the bulb of a laboratory thermometer in contact with these ice cubes. Set up the beaker, whatever is shown in the picture. Okay, now what you have to do is you have to note down the temperature, heat the beaker slowly, record the temperature for every 30 seconds by stirring the ice cubes continuously using a glass rod. So finally, what you will observe, all the ice has been converted into water. But when you observe the thermometer reading, the temperature remain constant till the ice has completely melted. So I told that we have seen in this experiment the thermometric reading is not changing. That means the temperature remains constant till the entire solid melts, even though we continue the supply of it. So a question arises in your mind. What happens to this heat energy, whatever you are supplying? So I will tell you, just listen. This heat energy is actually used up in overcoming the forces of attraction between the particles of solid during the conversion of a state from solid to liquid without increasing their kinetic energy. Already, I have explained where kinetic energy is directly related to temperature. So what happens here? The kinetic energy of the particles does not increase. Therefore, the temperature of the substance, whatever we have taken here, ice cube, does not rise during the state of a change conversion from a solid to a liquid. Here, the ice cubes to water. So here, in other words, the whatever the heat energy is supplied is hidden within the particles. So after completing the activity, just will again I will summarize what is that is. The melting point of ice is 0 degrees Celsius. And one more point you have to remember, the temperature of mixture of solid and ice and the liquid water does not change. It remains constant. Already I told you. This temperature is known as melting point of ice. The temperature start changing only when ice completely melts. So whatever the heat energy is supplied to the beaker, the particles gain energy. Due to the additional heat energy, the particles move freely by overcoming the force of attraction between the particles. So, that is the reason why a no change in temperature will be observed even on heating. So, one more point you have to remember. At a certain temperature, the solid melts into a liquid. So, a specific temperature at which a solid and a liquid are in equilibrium. Equilibrium means both in equal state. That specific temperature is called melting point of that solid. So already I have covered that the process of changing a solid to liquid is known as fusion, or simply we call it as a melting. So now you remember in this way also the amount of heat energy that is required to overcome the force of attraction among the particles to change the state is given by latent heat of a substance. Here from which state to which state is changing? From a solid state to liquid state. So here you have to remember what is latent. Latent in Greek it is hidden. So whatever you are supplying the heat energy, it is not showing any rise in the temperature where a thermometric level is not changing. Only the heat energy is used to convert one state to other state. Here the condition is solid state to liquid state. Latent heat of fusion, the amount of heat energy that is required to change 1 kg of a solid to liquid at atmospheric pressure at its melting point is called as latent heat of fusion. The melting point of a substance depends on the strength of the force of attraction among the particles in a solid. If the particles have higher force of attraction, then the higher will be the melting point. For example, for ice it is 273.16 Kelvin, and for sulfur it is 368 Kelvin. So the melting point at 273 temperature, the ice starts melting, whereas sulfur, which is having 368 Kelvin, it requires more amount of heat energy so that to convert the solid sulfur into a liquid sulfur. Or in a short way, you can remember the solid has a fixed melting point, which is a measure of strength of force of attraction between its constituent particles. Higher the melting point, stronger the force of attraction. So you have to remember in such a way, particles in water at 0 degrees Celsius have more energy as compared to the particles in ice at the same temperature. Because whatever the heat energy we are supplying, it's used to overcome the force of attraction. So during the change of state from ice to water, heat energy is equivalent to latent heat of fusion. I already have told. That means heat is absorbed. So you have to remember in such a way, what is that? Ice at 0 degrees Celsius is more effective in cooling a substance than water at 0 degrees Celsius. And one more point you have to remember here. Latent heat of fusion of ice is 80 calorie per gram. Only for the value sake I have given ma. This is all in 10th standard. In depth you are going to learn ma. So at 0 degrees Celsius both ice and water exist together. So up to now we have learned the conversion of solid to liquid. We will learn the reverse way also. A change of state from a liquid to solid, that process is known as freezing. The temperature at which a liquid freezes to become a solid at atmospheric pressure is called a freezing point. The process of freezing is nothing but a change of a state from liquid to solid. And this is also, we have one more name that is called solidification. You have to remember both the words freezing as well as solidification. The freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius, and we know that the melting point of water is also 0 degrees Celsius. Just remember. So very interesting to note that freezing point of a liquid is same as the melting point of a solid state. You have to remember that is melting point of ice means it is in the solid state. Freezing point of water is means it is in the liquid state. So for example, the freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius, which is same as the melting point of ice. The only difference is that when ice at 0 degrees melts, when it is melting, it absorbs more amount of heat. That is what in the form of latent heat of fusion to form water at the same temperature. So whatever the energy we are supplying, only it takes the energy not to increase its temperature, only takes the heat energy to convert that whole of the solid to liquid. That means when the water at 0 degrees freezes to form at 0 degrees Celsius. In this situation, what happens? It gives out an equal amount of heat energy. How much it is taken to convert ice into liquid. Similarly, that amount of heat energy it is given out to convert the same liquid into solid. So don't get confused, children. These points you have to remember. Okay. And one more point you have to remember. Impurities lower the freezing point of a liquid. Here, when you add a sodium chloride, the freezing point of a liquid will decrease. This point you have to remember. In the later classes, you will learn about this impurities and all. So here we have to know about the scales of measuring temperature. The first scale is Celsius scale, Kelvin scale. So freezing point of water is taken as 0 degrees Celsius, while its boiling point of water is taken as 100 degrees Celsius. Kelvin, it is the SI unit of temperature. Freezing point of water is taken as 273.16, while its boiling point of water is taken as 373. So you have to remember 273.16 Kelvin after rounding equals to 273 Kelvin. And we have a relation between Celsius scale and the Kelvin scale. Just listen. K is represented with Kelvin and Celsius is represented with degrees centigrade. That's what. So K is equal to 273 plus degrees Celsius. So how to convert a temperature on a Kelvin scale to Celsius scale? We have to subtract 273 from the given temperature. That means 573 Kelvin if it is given. I want to convert into degrees Celsius. You have to subtract minus 273. So what happened now? 300 degrees Celsius. Now converting a temperature on Celsius scales to Kelvin scale, we have to just add 273 to the given temperature. Here 300 degrees Celsius, same values I have taken, 300 degrees Celsius. I want to convert to Kelvin. So just you have to add 300 plus 273 is equal to 573 Kelvin. So the same example I have given where converting Kelvin to Celsius and Celsius to Kelvin so that you will not have any confusion. In today's class, we have learned the process of melting and so many definitions. So, I hope you have understood the class. Please answer the questions and send to me by 6 o'clock.